we need to be very careful when listening to different people, even such as myself. Self-help gurus don't know any better than you do about Bitcoin. They just need you to think that they do. Welcome back, everyone. This is definitely going to be a bit of a different episode, a different type of episode, because we're going to focus specifically on an article that has to do with the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. Actually, like a little bit of a snippet of a conversation that he had with the group that is known as Doomberg on Twitter. Anyways, when I was younger, I was very much taken in by self-help gurus. I found them very interesting. It was very refreshing. The stance that they took on the ideas of success and the ideas of hard work and whatnot. But I ended up learning a lot along the way. Some of that being that every single one of them is essentially using the same information from the 1920s, which was originally created by Napoleon Hill. Anyways, this isn't a clip defending or trying to make the point that Napoleon Hill is the best or whatever. The point of this clip is that we need to be careful when these people are talking to us about Bitcoin. Anyways, let's dive into this article. And interestingly enough, in this article, we ended up getting a little bit of a reason why we just all of a sudden had this quote unquote massive pump in Bitcoin, where we went right back up to touch the 25K, which is right above the 200-day moving average. Anyways, let's dive into this article. Very interesting times, people. Very interesting things going on. Here's what Bitcoin price Robert Kiyosaki is waiting for to back up the truck. As the cryptocurrency sector increases its presence in the mainstream, Robert Kiyosaki, author of the best-selling personal finance book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and vocal Bitcoin supporter, has recently shared that he would buy more of the maiden cryptocurrency if it dropped to a certain price level. I love it when they do that. If it just gets to this price, this imaginary number that we made up about this asset that we don't truly understand, because it is entirely different than every other asset in humanity. But we're going to give you a price prediction anyways. All right, here we go. Kiyosaki interviewed a representative of Doomberg, the anonymous Twitter account of a small team of industry consultants coming from the commodity sector, respected for their expertise on macroeconomic issues. This is one of the things that I love about Bitcoin, right? You get these people that come from these other sides. Well, look, they know about macroeconomic issues and they know about commodities, which means they must understand what Bitcoin's going to do. None of them have ever had an asset like Bitcoin. They never have. We've never dealt with anything that has a finite supply and that is fully, truly government censorship resistant. Anything these guys are talking about, it's all just made up. They don't really know. Here we go. Replying to Doomberg's view that crypto, at least in this first generation, was nothing more than a giant Ponzi scheme where the sophisticated have fleeced the unsophisticated, but that he was interested in the technology and might be induced to buy it at the right price. So here's a comment out of Robert Kiyosaki. I studied technical analysis, and what went to 20K went down to almost zero, which went back to 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000. I kept waiting for it to keep crashing. So when it hit 6,000, I backed up the truck and I bought some. Okay, so you know what? I am immediately going to call just bullshit on this, because I was here during this bull run to 20K. It didn't go back to almost zero. The lowest point that it went to was approximately 3,300 and change. That was the lowest point it went to. So this business of it going back to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, none of that happened. None of that is real. Anyways, okay. Just continue on. As Doomberg agreed that the $5,000 to $6,000 range, we'd all love to get Bitcoin at 5 to 6K now that it's sitting at 20K. Oh, God. Okay, would be an enticing price to buy Bitcoin for the first time. Kiyosaki went on to state that he would even buy it if it got down to around 8K. Earlier, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad author revealed some gloomy predictions about the global economic outlook of a giant crash coming, at the same time praising Bitcoin, gold, and silver as alternatives to the fake United States dollar. I don't disagree with him about the fiat currency. I don't disagree with him about praising metals over the fiat currency. But there's something very interesting here about what he said, the predictions of a giant crash coming. Well, let me tell you guys something. Back in 2016, okay? Back in 2016, 7 years ago, Robert Kiyosaki, well, he said the biggest stock market crash in history was coming in 2016, guys. All right? He had 5 predictions that year. There's going to be a major market crash in 2016. Savers will be losers. Check the expiration date on your brain. Baghdad is the next city to fall. That's not what happened. Hyperinflation will come. I mean, that's kind of part of point number 2, right? Savers will be losers and buy gold and silver. But the point that we're focusing on the most here is the major market crash of 2016. Now, let's just go to the goggle machine very quickly. All right, and let's take a look at this, okay? Let's go all the way to 2008, and you know what? We are going to go all the way up to 2016. Okay, here we go. So let's go back here. 2000. All right, how about this? December 31st, 2015, the Dow Jones was at 17,425. Okay, that was 2016. So if you had listened to him and sold off, okay, by the time we got to 2018, the Dow Jones was at 25,462. He was completely wrong about this prediction. Completely wrong. And if you made the mistake of listening to him, you got wrecked. You missed out on all of those gains, deciding to listen to somebody that you think is smarter and more capable than you in the markets. Keep in mind, Robert isn't rich because of his amazing investments. Robert Kiyosaki is rich because he writes books and he provides self-help courses that people pay for. That's how he's rich. This is how all these guys are rich. Tony Robbins, and I mean, I'm not even going to get into are they actually rich, because that goes into a whole slew of other things. So again, this clip is not about discrediting Robert per se. This clip is about being careful in listening to these market pundits, number one. Number two, understanding that they have completely different timelines than every single, let me back up. Every human being has completely different timelines. I'm 43. I have different needs than somebody who is in their 20s. The person in their 20s has different needs than somebody who's 12 years old. The person that's 12 years old has different needs than somebody who's 36. Like, everyone has different timelines. So one particular person's investment or savings strategy is not necessarily going to be conducive to success for you. Okay? Like, you need to actually sit there and take account of your own finances, figuring out what your own expenses are, and then doing the research and having your own conviction in your savings vehicles and in your investment vehicles. Sorry about the long rant. It's just these self-help guys, they just kill me. As things stand, both Doomberg and Kiyosaki are in for a long wait as Bitcoin has started racing under the optimistic sentiment on the crypto market and positive developments, such as Interactive Brokers, a global electronic broker with a valuation of about $340 billion, announcing the launch of crypto trading in Hong Kong. So look, interestingly enough, this whole clip started off talking about Robert Kiyosaki, but did we just learn the reason for the last couple of days pump? Maybe we did. Okay. Anyways, I thought that last piece was interesting. But look, guys, the reason why I did this piece on the self-help gurus is because I do see a lot of people in Bitcoin that really take to the self-help crowd and the self-development crowd. And again, there's nothing wrong with deciding to use self-help, to do self-development. To be perfectly honest, if nothing else, it'll actually help you gain confidence in your own strengths and understand your own weaknesses as well. So there are very many positive points, but we need to take a step back and we need to realize that their motivations for telling you something are different than what you think they are.